Hey everyone, it's Desiree. I am here with day 18 of my 2018 Christmas series. So yes, we are still going. Computer's hanging on. But we did get behind, so we may roll over past the 25th. But don't worry about it. You're going to see all of these videos. So for this one, I'm going to focus yet another stamp or peg stamp set from Rubber Stamp Tapestry. I truly am a fan of these. I just love the versatility of them. There's so much that you can do with these. And again, you can get limited in looking at these. These are peg stamps. They're small, so I must make something small. Not necessarily. So here, I grabbed my 4 colors of Memento. I'm using bamboo leaves, rich cocoa, rhubarb stalk, and ladybug. I'm going to use my card panel. I'm going to have that set up, and what I want to set up on this card panel is a piece of masking paper. Now, my favorite masking paper is by Simon Says. It's a little stronger, but I do like the feel of it. I like the thickness of it. It doesn't bleed as quickly. So again, it is one of my favorite items to use. So the set that I'm using with Rubber Stamp Tapestry has poinsettias, and it's called Christmas Time. Now it also has pine cones on it as well. So I chose 3 or 2 different reds. I've got a brown for the pine cones, and then of course a green for the little sprig that's going to come out as well. So I'm just stamping around that mask area. I don't care where I'm going. I don't care if I overlap. That's one of the beauties of these peg stamps. Now the trick to them is, now these are all the same size pegs. If you have larger pegs or multiple sizes, always do your larger item first. For some reason, it just works out. It's very odd. If you do the smaller one, you kind of cover it up. So when you stamp with your larger items first, you know where to place your smaller ones. So consider them fillers, in other words. Once I have all of this stamped around that piece of masking paper, I'm going to use a die from my stash. This is my favorite things, wonky. Yes, it is still my favorite die. And I want to use that for the border. So what I loved about this, that this was big, it was huge, it went out to the sides. Now, because I kept my masking paper on, and I did that specifically, and running through, excuse me, my platinum, my die cutting machine, it really makes it adhere. So you want to take your time peeling off if you have any tape or any masking paper. So I'm just going around in a little circle. I'm making sure I'm peeling it back on itself so that I do not destroy the paper underneath. I will always keep that masking paper on when I run it through my die. I don't know if I have any inks on my plates because I always forget to clean them. It just happens. The sentiment I'm using is from a stamp set that I got from Michael's, my local craft store, by Recollections. And it's say, have yourself a merry little Christmas. I just loved these fonts. I loved the statements. Now, I'll see if they still have it available, and I will, as always, link it down below. But honestly, what clued me in on that stamp set was the 2 in the From stamp. I actually used them in another video. I just loved this set. So if it's available, I'll still link. I used my stamp positioning tool to stamp that sentiment right in the center of the wreath just to make sure I had a nice crisp image, and I did use my VersaFine black. Tying a bow. Well, I tried to stay in frame there. Could have done a better job, but I'm getting better at tying bows. For those of you that have been around from the beginning, you remember how that used to be. I'm getting better. So I used 2 different. I used an organza and I used a satin. I tend to do that. I like to add the different textures. I like to have different levels in my bows. yes, my cards probably will cost a little more to put in the mail. I like to mention, I just get a bigger envelope to make that card fit, or I make my own and make sure I add it. This does add a lot of dimension, and I just love the way everything is just sticking out from the bottom of that wreath. I chose a wine color card base. Now my cards are standard size A2, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and usually a top folding card. I just like that look. Makes it look like an easel if somebody wants to sit it up on their desk, because we do make little pieces of art. Doesn't matter what we think, they are little pieces of art. Once that's adhered to my card base, I'm going to grab my NuVo drops in Bubblegum Blush, and I'm going to go around and in the flower, the center of the flowers, or the poinsettias, it's a flower, I'm going to put a drop of my drop. Just to give it a little bit. You could use sequins, you could use crystals, anything would be absolutely beautiful. So a little bit different color scheme when it comes to the holidays, but still a very quick and simple, but yet elegant and beautiful card for the holidays this year. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. You don't want to miss what's coming up in 2019. So we're going to have some interesting things, and you'll find out soon. If you have any questions, leave those down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All the products that I used will be linked down below in the video description as well. They will not be listed in my blog because I am behind. I'm just going to do one massive blog post. So you'll see everything linked in that once we are through this. I hope everyone's having a great time through the wonderful holiday season. And remember to relieve any stress that you might have. Always be creative.